moderate. Oh, can you just so you can't like get naked or anything.
We're not gonna get naked.
I really wish.
This is not the Third Eye OnlyFans channel. Okay. All right, let's do another shot.
You said what? Third Eye Lens fans? What?
All right, cheers, cheers to Mike, to Tokusatsu, to filmmaking, to the audience, whoever is watching. Tokusatsu, Mike. Hey.
That's how you do a dog right there.
We'll pretend it's our first shot.
Holy shit!
All right.
They don't have to know.
I'll never tell.
Okay, take 3. You gonna swing?
Alright, so now is Jake taking over?
Jake's taking over. Yep.
Yeah, mine, like I said, mine's more towards cosplay, so it might not be as in depth. But, sorry.
I got you, man.
Alright, we want this one.
Yeah,
Is that gonna be too close?
No.
You got
That's
the
good.
V-neck.
Huh?
Said you got the V-neck. Mine's like right here. Is that gonna be an issue?
No.
Sexy V-neck.
Oh yeah. By the way, I need to buy my
Other people do the
slash hoodie. Let me know when I should do that.
Yeah, just let me know. I'll be in Hampton. I live next to you.
Trying to get a hoodie?
Oh yeah. Okay. Hoodie, shirt, all of
I
that.
still got a paranormal one made too.
Yeah.
I'm the only one with paranormal and the Halloween.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the Halloween.
We got the glitchies.
I'm gonna do the Halloween for something else.
For someone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I wait for that? Should I wait for that? That sounds dope.
Dion made the mistake of promising T-shirts like
I
5 different
don't
people.
remember.
And everyone's asking like,
I remember your mom. That's about it. The only person I remember.
So what you're saying is the merch. So the merch is catching on. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's for catching on. Did I sit on? Okay, you still got that. Okay.
No.
All right.
I mean,
Well, I'm already recording.
The
on
camera's
mine.
already recorded, so.
I've been recording. Oh, no. Let me do it again.
Oh, that's because you were getting
I was getting
BTS.
BTS. All right. Camera rolling my side. Oh shit! No. Hold up.
What?
Let's get a battery change now. On his.
I thought his
Okay.
Didn't you have like?
He's got less than half.
Oh, I thought you had like a couple hours.
Dude,
No,
battery change.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's got memory. He just.
Oh yeah. Okay. I thought all what you're saying was the battery life. Fall off camera. Forgot we were live. I looked up and saw the camera.
There you go.
Or is there anybody coming in?
Is there? Yeah. That's probably something you need to check. Let's see. Oh, hi. We did get somebody that said hi.
So hi. What is it? Yo.
I'm gonna butcher it. RF R7.
RF47, what up, yo?
All right.
Welcome to the stream.
Let's go.
Verify if you're a human.
Are you a bot man or not?
Say potatoes if you're real.
Say potatoes if you're real. 3 times in a row.
Turkish.
So I need to get a female.
No, I gotta put this on. This is actually not as hot anymore.
So I need to get a female.
Yeah, I understand that.
I'm getting a female. But luckily I got enough to rotate around. I mean, if you want to change back, we can.
Well, it's on half, and I'm not sure the duration, but you want to keep them virtually.
I don't know about. Yeah, I'd rather just
Just keep
keep the interview going rather than cut it.
Because I don't know, but like, damn, the battery died. We should have done it.
Yeah.
Better have a lot.
Well, how many gigabytes did you put in there?
Hmm?
How many gigabytes is in there?
500.
It's not bad.
It should go. We need to do more for 6K.
Well, this is only 10. Well, yeah.
We're gonna need. I'm gonna need a tera.
You will need a Express 10 or whatever the new Express card is.
Yeah.
coming out.
Some of these questions are gonna backtrack just a little bit, but not by that much. Because you did kind of walk them through your young adulthood into adulthood of acting. This is gonna get more.
Did you say potatoes?
Cosplay.
No.
No.
Lizard.
Lizard.
What's with the lizard? Oh, lizard. Lizard. Where you from, man?
Oh, we got 10. We got 10 viewers.
We got 10 viewers.
Man, look at us.
Welcome to the pod.
Look at us.
Look at the. We'll be cosplayers in a minute.
Is this yours or
Sorry.
third eye?
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Hey, welcome. Hope you guys enjoy Ghostface on the Grind and
Dude,
The-
it's like question mark.
Escape from South of the Border.
Alright, you guys,
We're just filmmakers in VA.
give you a little sneak peek of what we're doing. If you're a fan of Kamen Rider,
Common.
Kamen Rider. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Comment.
I've been saying it Kamen Rider for like the past year and a half.
I
and
thought
none
you
of
did that to
y'all
be
have-
funny.
no.
I thought you did that to be funny.
None of y'all have ever corrected me.
I will lie. They're
Genuinely
like,
thought
Oh,
that
we
was
did the
really
same thing
funny.
with our parents talking about Pokemon camps.
I don't want to talk about no Pokemon.
you gotta correct me on live.
You gonna correct me on live?
Pokemon.
You couldn't wait till we're not live.
They said I was good all these years.
Came right. I literally thought you were doing that to be funny. I
No.
never thought that you were. That's actually how you pronounce
No,
it.
I thought it was Kamen Rider.
Well, no, because it's going up the Japanese pronunciation.
Mention.
So if anybody's a fan of Kamen Rider, I'm gonna leave it at that. That's a little sneak peek of what we got.
Common, the R&B singer, this thing's good.
Common.
He's not a singer. He's a rapper.
Well, thanks for joining.
Yeah.
You'll have to watch it.
Okay.
I
I think
think
that's
Spider-Man 3. That movie was horrible. I know, Jimmy. You gave me chronic diarrhea.
All right, I gotta reframe myself. Actually, no, I gotta zoom in on your.
Yeah, I can't
Just like-
name until I slate too.
Yep. So, all right, I think we're about ready, man.
Alright.
Are you doing it where you want to see the top of that?
Oh, I'm gonna reframe
Yeah.
it. Once we slate.
Alright. Gonna roll sound.
Rolling.
Alright, roll camera.
Camera B rolling.
Camera
Camera A rolling. Zooming in. Focusing. Focus.
Alright, 7 cities heroes, scene 1A, take 3. 7 cities heroes, scene 1A, take 3.
And yeah, y'all let me know.
The Republican.
About right here. And then I think I got it. Yeah. All right. Camera B is ready.
Alright.
He's winning right now.
Alright, so
Doing a great job winning out here.
so
Gas prices are at $5. We're winning.
Winning for me, not for you.
alright, so I'll go ahead and action, obviously, and then I'll lead into it. So like I said, some of these you probably already answered, and that's fine. I'm gonna focus a little more on the cosplay side
By
of
all
things.
means.
So I'm just gonna kind of go into it. I'm gonna kick off where we left off, and then maybe backtrack a little bit. So
Please.
we've gone into your job side of things, how you went from young cosplayer to the military, you went to Japan, you did it for a living. Now we're coming back from Japan, but you still want to cosplay. Kind of walk me through the mentality of how you plan to keep that going, and if you were still interested, at least when you're coming back to the States.
So it's like a present or a future.
Yeah, when you're coming, like when you come back to Japan, or when you come back from Japan,
Okay.
and you
so-
want to keep in the whole cosplay
So
culture.
it was never a thing of like I wanted to stop cosplaying and just finish it for good. It was just that like when I was in Japan, I was so busy with so many things that like one, being a teacher, two, being a choreographer, three, being a performer, four, I was I was a contractor with the DoD, so I was working with the Army on top of that because even when I was shooting Kamen Rider, I had to balance my schedule in between teaching dance, working with the Army, and shooting. So it was a complicated schedule to try to keep up. And then on top of that, I was being a father at the time too, being a family man. So it was a little trickier, but it was moving into doing one of those things where it doesn't change. It actually doesn't change.
I'm good on my. It doesn't. I think I'm good still on my camera. How about you?
I look cool.
This one died.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I think you're
It's
good.
fine. Fix it in
Look on
post.
Is still
Still
We'll do it live.
Okay.
Still is good. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Alright, so we'll continue.
We'll
So
continue. It needs to be plugged. It needs to be charged.
But and so being a family man was kind of hindering it at one time. But then it started getting to the point where I was able to start trying to do that with my kids at the time. Like I was like, okay, well, I'm going to integrate cosplaying into not just me doing it, but they were going to do it too because they wanted to do it. So like one of the ideas I had was with my oldest at the time, she was like, "Oh, I want to cosplay as Nezuko, from Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer." And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to cosplay Tanjiro, and I'm going to make an actual box that she can sit in. I'm going to carry it around on my back. And then whenever I put the box down, she'll just pop out of the box and run away. And I'd have to like chase her back to like get her in the box type of thing. It was like goofy stuff like that. I had like plans to do it. I just never got the chance to do it. And that was kind of a thing. So it just didn't have the time, and so many things were happening at once that I wasn't able to really go back into cosplay like I wanted to. You know what I mean? Like I would do it every now and again for certain things, but it wasn't like how it used to be, where I would just be like events and all other kinds of things, and I'm cosplaying because I can, and because it was like, well, it's Tuesday and I'm gonna cosplay. It wasn't like that anymore. It was more like, okay, now I got to find an event to do it, and I gotta have the time for it, and things of that nature. So coming back to America, it was a little bit different because now it's like, oh, I want to do this. So like, I think what I first did was I made like a type of a Jedi cosplay, but it was like if you took a Jedi and you mixed them with the Purge, and you gave them like two dual lightsabers, and that was kind of like the first thing I did after I came back. And I was using that on top of like, okay, well, I'm going to get back into it eventually because I want to, and I miss cosplaying. And then so I did like, I did the Monkey King, and I was able to bring Wukong to, America. I'd done it in Singapore, but I never got to do it in America. So now I'm doing it in America. Then turn around and it's like, okay, I want to get back into Sentai and Kamen Rider. And so now I'm doing that, and now I'm in the progress of trying to make that a thing where I'm doing that here, where there is an actual fan base, and I mean there's a fan base over there, but now there's a fan base here, and I can do that where people can see that, and people can enjoy it.
What kind of differences did you see in like cosplaying in Japan versus cosplaying over here? Because you just said when you came over here, you had to rethink the Star Wars cosplay that you did versus over there, where you can do like Kamen Rider, Super Sentai. Do you find like is there a real cultural difference versus like it's just more character identification that you want to
Well,
cosplay as?
there is a cultural difference, right? Because like in Japan, right, when you're doing Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, you gotta think about it, right? It's been going on from the Showa to the Heisei to the Reiwa era. So because there's those three different eras, and I was born in the Showa era, so I know about the Showa and I know about the and things. So it was one of those things where like there's something for everyone. So like one of the things I used to do is I used to like sing like Super Sentai songs, and I knew songs from Showa, but I knew songs from the Heisei, and I knew songs from the Reiwa, and people would be like, "Oh, yo, I remember that when I was like a kid." And so, like in Japan, right, when it comes to Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and things of that nature, your parents used to watch it. Your grandparents used to watch it. Your parents watch it. You watch it. Your kids are going to watch it. You know what I'm saying? It's a generational thing, and it's like no matter what generation it is, people are still watching it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that they bank on the most is because it's like, yeah, you watched it back in the '90s when you were a kid, but then your parents also watched it back in the '80s and the '70s when they were younger, right? And your kids are going to watch it because it's still going to be a thing, and you're going to watch it with your kids because you grew up on it, and there's a nostalgia factor, but then also your grandparents are going to watch it too because it's a nostalgia factor for them too, and they're going to share that with you as well as with their grandkids. You know what I'm saying? So it's a thing that like transcends time. No matter what, somebody's always going to be watching, and then like you got the moms that watch it because the actors are cute or they're attractive or they're hot, so they're going to watch it. You know what I mean? So like there's always something for everybody, right? And when you get into it over here, it's more niche than it is over there. Whereas like over there, somebody's gonna know who I am. Somebody's gonna react to it. Over here, maybe not so much the same because maybe not everybody's into it. So you get into like certain cons. Like if I was to like go to PMC, if I went to like Ranger Stop or something, or Hero Con, somebody would know who I was, or somebody would know my character more than if I just went to a random like AUSA or if I went to NecoCon or something. Somebody might know, but you never know who's gonna know. And and just kind of a tidbit or a sidebar from that was when I went to Tidewater Comic Con just a few weekends ago, and I'm walking around. I got my helmet off, like I'm wearing a Sentai cosplay, but I got my helmet off, and people are like, "You kind of look like this guy," and I'm like, "What guy is that?" And they just kept, well, I don't know if you know him, because they're like, well, do you know? Because again, it's niched, right? So they're like, I don't know if you know him, but it's a series, and I'm like, oh yeah, go ahead and tell me. It's like it's Kamen Rider. You know Kamen Rider? I'm like, of course I know Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider's your shit, So I'm egging them on because I know where they're going and I know what they're going to say. I'm just not saying anything. I'm not letting them know who I am. But they kept going like, well, you look like this guy from Kamen Rider, and I'm like, which one? And they were just like, you know Kamen Rider? I'm like, yeah. So they're like, well, it's this guy from Kamen Rider Geats. The character's name was Ben. You look like Ben. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. It's because I am Ben. And they're like, wait, no fucking way. Like, oh shit, you're Ben? And I'm like, yeah, I'm Ben. And it kind of just blew up from there. And they're like, what, are you local? And then more than me being Ben, that didn't blow their minds. Me being local blew their minds. Because they were like, you're local? And I'm like, yeah, I live like right down the road. And they're just like, no fucking way. And it was one of those things where it's like interacting with fans who knew. And for me, it was surprising to me because I was walking around in Japan when this was happening and nobody knew who the fuck I was. But then you're talking 3 years down the road, 3, 4 years down the road, I'm walking around in America, and people are like, "Yo, Ben," and I'm like, "How the fuck?" Like how is this an actual thing that people know who I am? Because it was kind of crazy. Because even just going on like sometimes I would pop in on random Discord groups and stuff with like Toku fans, and they would just be like, "Wait a minute, your name looks familiar." I mean, are you that motherfucker from Kamen Rider? I'm like, yeah, I am. They're like, oh shit, he's hanging out with us in Discord. I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, you know what I mean? Because I guess people aren't not used to actors like coming out and hanging out with them and talking with them on the regular. And I'm just like, hey, dudes, I got time on my hands, so why the fuck not, right? Hey, you guys want to play video games? We'll play video games together. Oh shit, he plays video games. Oh shit, he's one of us. And I'm just like, is this not a thing? Like, is this not real? Like, do people not do this? Maybe I'm weird. Maybe I'm the weird one.
So you find it a little more rewarding dressing up as those characters in America versus Japan, because when you dress up, obviously, you get a little pride when people, point you out or stop you or, hey, I like that character. So do you find that a little more rewarding when someone does notice you when you're in a Sentai or a Kamen Rider cosplay?
It's 50-50, right? Because in Japan, they notice the character more than they notice the person, which is cool. And I'm okay with that. Because, it's always, I'm wearing the suit, I'm wearing the helmet. You don't know who I am under the suit. You only know the suit. And that's cool because I've, touched a lot of people that way, been to a lot of people that where I'm just walking around. Like I would literally put on one of my suits, walk out of my house, walk to the station, get on the train, go to Tokyo and walk around. And people are like, yo, he's so and so, yo, can I take a picture with you? And then there would be people who were like super fans, or they'd be like freaking out, and they'd be like, yo, can I touch you? Because that's the thing in Japan, they just ask to touch you, and I'd be like, no, I put my hand out and shake their hands, kind of thing, and they would freak out about it, but it was cool because it was like they really loved and appreciated seeing the character in like real life, like because again, you gotta think about it, right? Yeah, Japan's a small country and this, that, and the other. But what are the odds you're gonna walk out of your house on a random trip to go grocery shopping and see a Sentai hero? That's not a normal thing you would ever see. Because literally, the only place you would ever see them, if not on television, is if you went to a special event or you went to Hero World, right? Like in Tokyo, you would have to go there and they'd be standing out there and you could shake hands with them and meet them there and this, that, and the other. But to be like, in your town, there's one walking down the street going to the train station, you wouldn't see that. So that was mind blowing. That was a mind blowing experience for them. Now, if I did that here, I'd probably get the same reaction in a way because people would be like, "Oh shit, yo, nigga, you got that shit on, yo, what the fuck?" But at the same time, when I go to cons, people noticing who I am at cons, and I'm not wearing the suit. I mean, I'm wearing the suit, but I'm not wearing the helmet, so my face is out. But then they notice who I am as the person, and they're like, "You look like this guy that I used to watch on Kamen Rider," and then coming to find out I am that guy. It's a whole different thing. It's kind of the same reaction as them seeing a hero walking around, seeing that here. Because then again, it's niche, right? Not everyone's a fan of Kamen Rider. Not everyone's a fan of Super Sentai. some people are a fan of Power Rangers. Like you'll find one on every block almost, which is kind of crazy because it was a lot more than when we were growing up. Where it was a niche group of people. It was only just these people who loved this shit, and everybody else didn't care one way or the other. But now it seems that more and more people have gotten into it. Because I mean, even where I work, my cadets blow me up constantly about like, we heard you were on Power Rangers, we heard you were on Kamen Rider. Who were you? And I'm like, I'm not telling you. And they're like, we want to look you up, we want to see who you are. And I'm like, I will never tell you. But like every class, they somehow figure it out. Like, oh, we found you. We found who you were. We found your stuff. And I'm like, fuck. So I had to deal with that. But it was fun. It was fun and it was funny because they were into that stuff. When we were kids, we were into it, but it wasn't a common thing. It was just kind of like every 20 people, one out of every 20 was into it. Now it's like every other person and their mom is into it. So it's kind of cool that times have changed from then to now that more people are into it as opposed to what they used to be.
So do you find it easier now then to cosplay as an adult than versus when you did as a child versus being nervous then, kind of getting into it. Now you've obviously done it for a while, so you have no problem now getting into the suit. But that mentality of getting past the nerves, do you find it easier as an adult, to cosplay nowadays versus how it was, maybe it was a handful of people back then?
I think it just depends on like insecurities. I want to say because like when I did it when I was younger, right? I never really cared because again, I think one of the biggest reasons I got into doing Sentai and Kamen Rider was not for the fact that it was Sentai and Kamen Rider, it was for the fact that I got to wear a helmet so you didn't know who I was. So I didn't have any worries or insecurities about who I was or who you saw. You only saw whatever was standing in front of you. You saw the character. You didn't see the man behind the character. And it was kind of cool that I was able to do that because then it was like, I don't have to worry about them knowing who I am unless I took my helmet off in front of them and then they saw me or got to know me then. Different story, right? But at first, it was just more like, okay, I wear the suit and the suit is me. You know what I mean? Because even when I used to dance, I used to wear a mask when I danced. So you wouldn't see who I was as a dancer. You only saw the dance. So you only focused on the dance because you couldn't focus on the face, right? And as I've gotten older, now it's kind of the same thing. I still do that, but at the same time, if I put my face out there, my face is out there. It is what it is. Then you kind of notice who I am, or what the case may be. But I think your insecurities change, right? Because I might be back then. It's like, well, they don't see my face, they don't know who I am. Now it's more like, oh God, am I still fit? Do I still look good in the suit? You know what I mean? Like, I think with age and with time, things change of what you're focusing on as to what makes it easier, what makes it harder to cosplay. Because now I might be like, oh God, have I gotten fat? Do I really want to wear a skin tight suit, hero suit and be fat? But it's like, okay, but that was the thing, you know what I mean? Because even a Super Sentai, and back in the day, there were fat ones, right? Or even in Kyoryuger, there was Kyoryu Cyan, who was also fat. And I knew him. He was a good friend of mine, rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago, but got to get to know him. But he was a big guy. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's not always about how good you look. It's like doing it, right? Because that's the whole point of cosplay in the first place is do it. You're either going to be the character or you're not going to be the character. And I mean, even when I was doing Ben and Kamen Rider, and people were like, "Hey, can I cosplay as you?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" You know what I'm saying? I was never going to be like, "No, you can't cosplay me or pay me," or no, I didn't care. I was like, "Dude, people want to cosplay as me." I'm like, go for it. And people did, and it was cool to see that because it was like, huh, it doesn't matter if I'm white, black, Asian, it don't matter. They like the character, they want to be the character. Who am I to stop them? Go for it. You got it. And so it was being able to, see that and be like, hey, people want to do this. People want to be this. People want to portray you. People want to portray your character. By all means, who am I to stop you? I may have done the character, I might have brought the character to life, but it's you who keeps the character alive, not me. I did my job. Now it's on you to do your job to keep the character alive. You know what I mean? So it's seeing those things as you go forward. Maybe when you're younger, ego is a big thing of it. It's like, oh man, it's all me, 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 me. But as you get older, you start to see, well, me did what me needed to do. Now it's not for me to do it anymore. It's for you to do it and keep it moving from there. So it is what it is. Like I don't have the insecurities anymore where I'm like, oh my god, can I do this anymore? I'm more like I do it just now because I enjoy it, and I've been doing it for so long. It's been a part of my life that I'm just like, why would I stop?
Yeah. So do you have any particular characters or people that you prefer to cosplay as that you've done maybe multiple times? Like if you were to name, say, your Mount Rushmore of cosplays that you've done over the years, who would they be, and why did you pick them? And like what's special to them about you? Not just because oh, I wanted to do this character because I like it. What was special about them to you that made you know that you wanted to cosplay as them?
One of my first ones would have to be Sun Wukong from Journey to the West or the Monkey King story. For people that don't know what that story is, um, big for me because one, as a martial artist, I was always a bow staff user. So being that I could be a character who uses a bow staff was kind of cool for me. That I could, bring that art to life because, as a martial artist, I'm like, oh man, find ways to keep your craft and keep your art alive. Keep your discipline alive, keep your fighting alive, and this, that, and the other, keep your skill alive. Well, what better way to do that than to cosplay or dress up as someone who uses your discipline and your style? So Wukong was a character where I was like, this motherfucker uses a cudgel or a bow staff. I'm there. Let me do this. And so when I first debuted it, it was back in like 2016, 2017, back in Singapore. And it was crazy because one, I was a random black guy that was just in Singapore at the time. There's not a lot of us there. But then two, I came out and was cosplaying as Wukong, but I had an 8 foot bow staff that I was like flipping around like it was a toothpick and stuff. And people were so impressed by it that they were like, he is Wukong. So like even people who from Singapore contact me or talk to me nowadays will be like, "Yo, Wukong, what's good?" Like they don't call me anything else but Wukong, which is cool. And then even if like someone else has a Wukong cosplay, they were like, "Well, yeah, yours is good, but he's the original." What I mean? It was kind of like paying homage to me, and it was really really cool to to kind of see that and to live through that. And it's a character that I still to this day will keep alive, and any version or variant form of him I could do. Keelik from Soul Calibur, you know what I'm saying? Wukong from Sayuki, or just do the Monkey King himself. And I'm planning on doing an armored version of that eventually, just because I just want to wear the armor for at least once in my life. Might be the most uncomfortable thing ever, but I'm planning on doing it at least once. But that would have to be like one of my go-tos because it's just me getting to be myself, but as a why not, right? You know what I mean? And I did Monkey Kung Fu on top of doing being a whole staff user. So just those two things was one of the things that was like, I guess when I chose cosplays, I choose them by who I am or what I am personality wise and use that to be like, this is who I'm going to be as a cosplayer because then I get to put my skills from what I had in real life to like this character, and that's pretty cool. Like I can go out and cosplay Bobby Brown because I can sing and dance, right? So it would be a thing. I could cosplay as Michael Jackson. I've done that. That's probably on my Mount Rushmore too, because I was a Michael Jackson dancer and I started out as a Michael Jackson impersonator and became a actual Michael Jackson like backup dancer, and it was pretty cool to do that. But I grew up as a little kid. Every song he did, I knew the lyrics. I could sing them. Every dance he did, I knew every step to every dance and could do them. You play the music, I'm there. I could do every dance. And people were just like, that is actually crazy that he knows like every song and dance to this motherfucker that exists. But it's being able to do that because I had so much love for it. And as a dancer, it was kind of one of those things where I'm like, oh, I can be a dance character. Hell, I want to do TK from freaking Angel Beats. Nobody knows who the fuck that is, but I love TK and I think TK is awesome. So that's the reason I'm growing my hair out because I want to be TK. I want to do like the whole bandana. And I want to run around dancing and yo, what's up? What's good? You know what I'm saying? Because TK is awesome. I think TK is like one of the best characters in that entire series. But he's that kind of character, and I'd be like, I could totally pull that off. I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a reflection of like who I am as a person. So I could do that. And then I did a lot of Super Sentai and Power Rangers because that's just something that's just a big part of me. When I was growing up, I loved it, wanted to do it. I always was like, one day I'm going to be a Power Ranger because that shit's fucking cool. And then, people used to make fun of me of it, and I used to get bullied for it. And it was like a whole well, you're voted most likely to become a Power Ranger, and then they made it funny because then when I did become one, people were like blowing me up, like, "Yo, what's it like being a Power Ranger? Yo, tell me what it's like. Is it cool?" Da, 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 da. And it's just like it's funny how things like come full circle when it comes to things like that. But I never let that deter me from wanting to do it or doing it in the first place. Just because you make fun of me about it doesn't matter. I'm still gonna do it. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, hey, I did it, been there, done that. It was awesome. Would I do it again? 10 out of 10, yes. Would I stop doing it because somebody had a problem with me for doing it, or I did the wrong color, or it wasn't a color that they liked, and it wasn't the series that they liked? No, I could care less because I may have liked it. You know what I mean? Like I did SPD. I love SPD. I've done two from that. I've done various series, but being able to do them was something that I wanted to do because, again, these are my favorite shows. Sometimes what's available, like sometimes I look and be like, oh, well, the Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin is available, and I can give two fucks. Oh, but hey, yo, that Turbo Red though, let me go and get that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because then people are like, well, not everybody's doing it. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where like I had a few suits that there was only one of, and I had it. So it was cool to be like, haha, I'm doing this color. You don't have this one. Nobody else has it. I'm the only one that got it in your face, and then like I did the run because I'm the only one doing this, sucker but it's being able to do those things where it's like, hey, I got this. Might as well, do something with it. Or just, because it's one thing to be like, well, I got it and I'm going to put it in a museum. Like, it belongs in a museum. No, it doesn't. It belongs on your body. Put it on. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, I got the collection. Let me wear these because I can. And so I would do that. So like my top three would have been like, Power Rangers, doing Power Rangers, doing Wukong, and like doing Michael Jackson, anything from anything Michael Jackson. Pretty much everything that motherfucker wears is a costume. So it's just like, yeah, there's like so much you can cosplay on that dude alone. And those would be like my top three, like my Mount Rushmore. I mean, there's probably a few more I could come up with. Like Common Rider would be another. I haven't done it yet per se, but it's not to say that I won't. It's just with time, right? Because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time to put those suits together. There's a lot that goes into them. Hell, I want to be a Ninja Turtle too, but I haven't done it yet. But doesn't mean that I won't. You know.
So I'm going to backtrack a little bit this question though. Do you recall what your first cosplay was? And, when did you decide that, hey, this is something for me? This is something that you can see yourself doing more and more again versus like a one time like costume that some people would call it.
Do we count costumes on like Halloween or events too?
I would say when you consider it like it's not a holiday based dress up. Cosplay is more I would say like convention or outing versus hey, I'm going trick or treating, so people are going to dress up. When did like cosplay as a whole get introduced to you or as a culture per se?
Okay, so for me, my very first cosplay, if we're going by that standard, would have been when I did Future Trunks in like middle school when I was in like the sixth grade. That would have been like my first. I didn't know it was cosplay at the time. I didn't know the name of it, but I was doing it, right? And then I kind of fell back from doing it and kind of held off on doing it. Then I joined the military. Then when I was in the military, was too busy doing other stuff. So I got stationed here in 2006. So I want to say around 2008 is when I was like, I'm going to start, because like for me, right, what people would call cosplay, I would have just called my dress because I would dress up like I was a cosplayer. Like, you'll see some pictures here and there if you go on like my social media. You'll see like the way I would dress up. People would be like, "That's a cosplay," and it's like, "No, it's just me dressing. That's just me. That's just how I dress." Because I would take a cosplay outfit and turn it into an actual outfit and I wouldn't care one way or the other about it. It was just kind of something that I did. Like you could be like, well that's so and so from so and so, and I'd be like, is it? Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I would just be like, oh, okay, well I'm just wearing it because I thought the jacket was cool, or I thought this design was cool, so I just wanted to wear it with my actual clothing, and I would have something to accessorize with it to be like, this is what I'm going to wear today. And sometimes I would just buy things and be like, I bought this like 6 months ago. Had no reason to wear it, no reason to buy it. But then like 6 months later down the road, I would be like at the store and boop, boop. Oh, this goes together. Boom, now I got an outfit. Boom. You know what I'm saying? And it would be things like that. So as far as like when I first cosplayed would have been like when I was in middle school. So I was like 11, you know what I mean? My actual first cosplay, I was like 2. I dressed up as an elf. I got dressed up as an elf for like a whole holiday thing, as like a Santa's helper holiday, and I was actually a straight up elf. And it was like the funniest shit ever. It's like a little 2-year-old baby just running around as an elf. It was the funniest shit. But when I consciously did cosplay, where I'm like, okay, this is me doing cosplay, it was around 2008, 2009, because then that's when I did the shooting cosplay and was dancing in it and this, that, and the other. And I also did Rey Mysterio as well, which was kind of funny. Had the form for it. I was wrestling at the time, and I wanted my motif to be under luchador wrestling. So I was like, I wanted to wear a mask and wrestle with the mask on, and I did. And then I went from that to like, when I met up with Dion in 2010, at NecroCon as Black Ranger, and then going from like Black Ranger to like other stuff. So that was kind of where I was like, I'm gonna take this more serious than I used to because this is fun for me and I love this and portraying characters and doing this and then seeing other people doing it and I did like Final Fantasy as well. So just being able to do those and like people like, oh dude, you're so and so, that's so fucking cool and then, and carrying that over into doing other things, it was always cool to do and it was fun. It was more fun for me to be able to do these things. And like even today, I mean, hell, I'm almost 40 now and I will still do a cosplay just because I think it's dope. Now it's more like I have money and I have time. So if I really want to do it, I just put forth the money and make it happen, or I'll make it and then I'll go about my business and make it happen.
So someone who may not have had that introduced them at a young age, whether they be a teen, young adult now, to even someone in our age group, maybe 30s and 40s. What would you tell them now, knowing what you've done, to convince them that it is something that is not as embarrassing or shouldn't be too shy to do getting into cosplay?
Well, what I'd say to them is first thing, I grew up black. So cosplay was not a thing for black people back in the day, you know what I mean? So for the fact that I was doing it, I was just weird. You know what I mean? I was a weirdo. I was, what are you doing? Nah, nah, nah. And then I also was living down south. So it's like way different down south than it would be up here because more up north is more progressive, whereas down south it's very conservative or it's very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Reserved.
Very reserved. Yes, like it's a whole different vibe. You know what I'm saying? Because Southern Baptist Christians and things like that, and the good old boys and all that other shit. So all that's going on down south. You don't have the time to really think about. I want to cosplay. I want to be this character. I want to do this. I want to do that. So my only escape for doing those things was because I did theater. I was like acting and doing theater, so I got to dress up and do those things for that. Or I would have to play a concert because I was playing music, and then I would dress up for that. So those are like my only escapes for that. I didn't have any other escape otherwise besides Halloween, but that doesn't count. You know, and so what I'll say to people is, it's like, hey, it doesn't matter how old you are, because I mean, you can be any character that you want to be. It's still portrayal. It's still respect and paying homage to whatever character you want to be. And one of the things that I really look at when it comes to that is like, there are characters of every age, every size, every creed, every color. Doesn't matter who you want to be. Doesn't matter what you are. You can be that character if you want to be. And the only thing stopping you from doing it is you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can get inside your own head, but I always tell people, I'm like, if you're gonna live inside your own head that much, you should either pay rent or put down on the mortgage, because like, get the fuck, or otherwise get the fuck out, because you should be in your own head like that. And I remember like when I first did my Black Ranger, my Vulcan Black cosplay, one of the first people that talked to me came up to me and he's like, I hope you don't mind me asking this, but are you a black guy under there? And like, just it was funny as shit, but at the same time, I was like, "Fucking hell, dude!" Like, you know what I mean? Do I have to be black to be a Black Ranger? You know what I mean? And it was just so random, and it's like I was wearing the helmet and everything, so I couldn't really talk through it. But like the look on my face was just like, yeah, you know what I mean? But it didn't discourage me. It was just more of encouraged me when I got to do Kung Lao. You know what I'm saying? Kung Lao is a Chinese character, but I did it as a black dude, but I still did it. People loved it. People enjoyed it because it looked good. It looked awesome. I lived as a character because the one thing you're doing, whether you know it or not, is when you're cosplaying, you are acting as that character. You are that character. So you are portraying that character. You're acting. You are being the actor. It doesn't matter who performed that character in whatever media you want to think about. It doesn't matter anymore because now you are the media that's portraying that character. So when you are in cosplay, when you are in costume, you are now that character. You are not yourself anymore. You are this person until you take it off. And so if you look at it from that standpoint, you look at it from that mindset, it's way more different than just being the ego in the head of I am this, I am me, I am Mike, so I am going to be Mike no matter what. Nope, the moment I put on that cosplay, I am no longer Mike. I am that character. And I will be that character until this costume comes off. And it's fine because then you can get out of the mindset of, oh God, will people like me if I'm this character? Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter anymore. You are who you are at this point. They don't like it, fuck them. Somebody's gonna like it.
So do you find it easy making connections, with people say that you've never met before or someone that you may have just passed by on the street? You see a fellow cosplayer, you like that character. Now you find it easier to talk to somebody, whether, you may not be as extroverted as you thought you were, but because they're wearing a character that you like, or even vice versa, someone sees a character that they like, you find it easy talking to them about that character through that simple connection.
I mean, that's a perfect question because strangely enough, I am a very introverted person. And it's very surprising that if I'm with my friends, like my close group of people, oh yeah, extroverted all day. But if it's just normal me, I am super introverted, will not talk to you, will not say a thing, go about my business. Now I know how to flip it. I know how to flip the switch and turn on my social battery when I need to. Working in service industries, working with people, being an entertainer, you just kind of learn those skills as you go along. But one of the only times my battery doesn't get drained from doing that is when I'm doing cons. Like if I'm at a con or an event and people are cosplaying and dressing up, gives me a chance to actually kind of be extroverted enough to where it's not overwhelming to me or overbearing, but just enough where I can be like, okay, I can enjoy myself and have fun and still kind of be reserved at the same time. Because I might be my character, I might not be dressed up, but I might see characters that are dressed up, and I might see it as the coolest thing ever. And so it gives me a chance to really, kind of get out of my comfort zone and say, hey, your character is really cool. I like it. Can I take a picture? Or you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. Because normally I wouldn't do it. I'd just be like, da, da, da. But one of the things I kind of do is I'm like a kid at the candy store when I go to like events and I see people dress up. I'm like, oh my God, you're so so. Oh, you're so so. And it's like, I kind of forget at the time that I'm an introvert. So it's just like, oh, it gives me a chance to really break out of my shell, meet people, talk to people, get to know people, and then when I go home, I just go back to being the old me, where I'm just back in my shell again. So it's one of those things. It kind of comes with the territory, but it does give me a chance to do so.
Nice. So your answers have actually, kind of answered a lot of the questions that I was going to lead up to, but you're very good at answering questions. So I'm going to leave you with one more thing, without getting too much into the future questioning. But and it's going to sound like a very basic question. You've gone over a lot of memories that you've had, so I apologize if you have to change your answer based on something you've already said. But do you have any significant memories cosplaying as an adult now? So not, we've gone past the childhood, we've gone past the teens, but now as a grown adult, you pay taxes. What memories stand? Yeah, what memories like stand out for you now as an adult cosplayer that you may have experienced, whether it be like a funny moment, sad moment, just a really heartwarming moment that you've seen as an adult also being in cosplay?
I've had a few here and there, quite a few. I can just tell some stories. One of them was my brother and I. We were cosplaying as Senza Heroes. So I was Deca Master or Shadow Ranger from SPD, and he was Samurai Red from Shinkenger or Valley of Samurai. And so it was funny because we were just like walking through Tokyo. We went like the whole day just going through Tokyo. Started off that morning and we ended up in Tokyo just walking around doing stuff. Been to a couple of main cafes, stuff like that. We were just doing all kinds of things. And I remember we were like leaving Tokyo, we were going back to my area, and like this little boy, I swear, I think he was like 5, 6, somewhere no older than 7, right? And he comes up to my brother, and he's like, "Shikeredo, Nihonjin desu ka?" So he's like, "Oh, hey, Shikeredo, are you Japanese?" And so I lean over to my brother and I tell him what he said, but we're wearing the helmet, so you can't really. But I like lean over and I was like, he's asking if you're Japanese. Now, you would think you know, somebody be like, yeah, I'm Japanese, or yeah, I'm the character. Da, da, da. No, my brother decided that he was going to nuke this kid in the fucking orbit. So, so, so this motherfucker doesn't skip a beat, doesn't miss a beat at all, reaches up, undoes his helmet, takes it off, and like exposes himself. Like he shows his face. And the little kid is staring up at him like straight silence. Like nothing moved, nothing made a sound. It was just this kid just staring up at him like this. And then the funniest shit to me, because I lost my shit, but I was like in my helmet laughing the whole time. But like kid like looks at my brother for like a good minute or two, then looks down at the front and say, "Chicken red is black." And so the parents are like, "Oh, we're so sorry," and we're like, "No, it's cool." Da, 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 da. And the parents are like, "Thank you for like talking to us and this, that, and the other." And then like, she's like, "Okay, come on, son, we're leaving." And then like the kid starts walking up, and it's like, "I can't believe Chicken Red is black," and like walks off. And I'm like laughing my ass off because I was like, dude, I was like, you just nuked that kid. Because like, in their country, all their heroes are Japanese. They weren't expecting a black dude to be in that suit, so just for that to happen was like funny as shit. That was one moment that like sticks to me, that just like stands out to me because it was just hilarious, and I'm just like, you are so fucked up for that. Like, but another one was I was wearing a Chicken Red cosplay at one time, and I was in Tokyo with a buddy of mine because there was a cosplay event in Tokyo, so we went. And when we were done, I was on the train on my way back, and this little boy, I say he's about 6, little cute kid, and he comes up to me and he's like, "Chicken Red, can I shake your hand?" And I shake hands with him and I give him a hug, and then we take pictures together. And like I'm sitting on the train, I'm still wearing everything because I don't want to take it off, and it's just a pain in the ass to take off and put it back on. So he comes, and his parents, him and
Let's
his
do a
parents-
cut. We'll zoom. We'll do a cut.
Okay.
No, this
Battery died?
so,
Okay.
All right, hold that.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
We'll restart that.
Write it down. Write it down. Write it down.
Oh no, I got it.
Yeah, no, you're good. Because that was the last question I had for you anyway. Like I said, a lot of the questions I had for you, you kind of led into them anyway and answered them already. So,
We're doing enough.
doing great.
Doing good. Doing good. All right. Battery change for the bus or the both? Both? Okay. Man, these two. They ain't kidding about these things.
This radio doing a shot.
You should buy the rechargeable ones.
Huh?
Wanna do
Y'all doing a little shot? Yeah, doing a
It's
little shot. It's not like strong,
Yeah, it's like-
but it's just enough.
You
Yeah.
get a good little.
You get a little something from it. Yeah.
We still got peeps?
Nope,
We alone now.
You alone? Okay. I might just drop the live and just use BTS.
No joke, I am Michael Musa Jackson. Oh, I missed it.
Wait, what? No way.
Yeah, he's gone now, but Michael Musa Jackson.
This shit fucking eats, dude.
Musa Musa.
Fucking.
Oh, is our
Yeah.
channel new?
Yeah.
I know he's gone now, but
Damn.
kind of. We've been a group for about
Really?
a few years now.
Yeah, we're
Um,
still around. Hi,
But this is like
guys.
the first time, I'd say, within the past year or so that we've got a page and everything and can actually show what it is we're
Hey,
doing.
you gotta buy those like lithium rechargeable ones.
Yeah, I'm.
So first
I'll grab them.
first
It's on my
channel,
list.
yes, but as
They're
a
actually
group,
really
no,
cheap.
we've been a group for
They're cheaper. Like, cause you can
I'd
buy them with
say
the
about
charger too.
Yeah, I bought
6
it
years now.
from Amazon. It was this shit ate it up in like 20 minutes. I didn't like super.
Yeah, I thought it was like the Energizer or whatever, but they're
Yeah.
like lithium. Like you can recharge them.
Right.
I like game and stuff, so I use it for gaming and stuff. But then it's like, oh, they have other
You want one, though?
Yeah, I think one.
Mike, I don't even need to ask you.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, don't forget the bars that I
Yeah,
think I
so-
sent it to you.
So I didn't want to make
You
him,
didn't want
I didn't want
to
to make him feel forced, but I'll let him know now that the camera's
Yeah,
on. There,
yeah.
there was something I said in an interview, but what's coming from you may actually be a little more. So when I was asking you, like,
You got
Make-
two more?
making the connection with people and
Yeah,
stuff like
I got
that.
you.
Where did you send this to my
I
WhatsApp?
should have been WhatsApp.
So one of the things I said to Dion when he was asking me, like, my opinion, I said, did you send it?
We kind of ran 2 hours with this thing. So.
That's still not too bad. Hey, look at that.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm about to get some BTS.
Is anybody still in the live? Anybody still in the live?
No, we were just, I was answering some questions. Oh, so I said to me, cosplay. So these are, to me, I feel like are more of closing questions for O, since O is kind of going into the future.
This is for the edit. This is for the edit.
Yeah, so like, what does cosplay mean to you? And for me, it was cosplay is about having fun, expressing yourself, and having fun in a safe environment to be a character that you love. And you kind of already said that. And then,
All right, guys. Thanks for joining in on our live stream. Oh, we got one person there.
Oh,
Who we got
sorry,
in there? Is your channel new? Somebody's in
No, I
there.
already answered that question.
Somebody's
And I said
watching.
you-
Might be
I-
Lori.
You have more
Thanks for joining,
connections,
guys. Peace.
and with people that you realize through cosplay.